Whether you keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs, these are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
Boom. What is going on, everybody? This is Jeremy from Brassman Reptiles, and you're noticing that I'm overtaking the screen. Unfortunately, Rob couldn't make today's episode, so I'm running solo, but I'm super excited to be here with you guys. This is going to be an awesome podcast. Of course, we're talking with the new owner of Kingsnake.com, Jon Poff, and I'm super stoked to be able to talk with him and get you guys some firsthand information right from the guy himself. Before we do that, of course, I want to make sure that I say thank you to all of our sponsors, starting with Kingsnake.com, because why not? The new swag is here. So massive shout out, of course, Kingsnake.com making the comeback into the industry, and we couldn't be doing it without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, go check out Kingsnake.com. There's been some exciting things that have happened today that I'm not going to spoil. We're going to talk about that during the podcast. But Kingsnake.com has long served as a hub and a resource for herpetoculturists for many years. And it was one of the reasons that Jon jumped in literally right in the nick of time to save the platform and all of that history that was there. And it's still there for people to check out. So head on over to Kingsnake.com, check out the platform, go check out some of the history of modern herpetoculture. It's definitely worth your time. Of course, a shout out to our longtime sponsor, Black Box Cages. Go check them out, producing amazing enclosures, safe quality enclosures, always taking the step up for everybody in herpetoculture, whether you're using cages, racks, everything in between, from advancements like utilizing C14 plugs, which are they have a fail safe involved. So if something goes wrong with your heating system, it's going to turn off. All these wonderful things. Go check them out, blackboxcages.com, and you can use code Reptile Talk and save a little bit off your order, because who doesn't want to save some money in today's economy? I know I do all the time. That's why Temu is an app on my phone. But last but of course not least, Raging Rodents Liberty. Go check them out. If you are in the Southeast and you've got a substantial snake collection or reptile collection that needs food, Raging Rodents Liberty is your place to go for domestically produced feeder rodents, whether you need live or frozen, rats, mice, quail, pigs, whatever you need, we've got it. And I'm not just saying that because I manage the facility, but Raging Rodents is also veteran owned and is a proud supporter of all things here, Reptile Talk, Brassman Reptiles, all these things, and I'm very thankful for that. So go check them out, Raging Rodents Liberty. Links are all in the description for all of our podcast supporters. Thank you to all of those guys once again. Thank you to everybody that's here in the chat. What is going on, everybody? Do me a favor, if you could, share this video. I don't care if you're on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that, but share this video with all your followers, your friends, your family, people who might not even like reptiles and you think might throw their computer across the screen because it'd be a funny joke. Share it with them, because we're here to spread the word about reptiles and just have a great time. But we appreciate the support. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We definitely appreciate that support as well. And I think that wraps up all of the important business things for me to talk about. Here I will reenact what the scene would be if I asked Rob what was going on. Rob, what's going on? Well, scrub pythons and short-tail pythons and scrub pythons and more scrub pythons. Scrub pythons are really cool, and there's some awesome scrub pythons over here, and field herping and found snakes every month of the year. And that's awesome because North Carolina rocks, and more field herping. And if you check out my Instagram story, you see all the time that I'm field herping, and even when I'm at work, because field herping is awesome. So there, now it's like Rob is right here with us. But of course, go check Rob out and everything that he's doing, because of course he's always literally field herping and playing with scrub pythons, and who doesn't want to see stuff like that? So Rob is creeping it real. I'll tell you now, because he would tell you at the end of the podcast. Don't follow him on Facebook, but you can find him everywhere else at Rob is Creeping It Real. And miss you, buddy. I'll see you on the next one. But now that takes the cake. And without further ado, it's time to bring the man, the one and only, onto the screen here, Mr. Jon Poff. What's going on, dude?
Everything, my friend. Everything. How about for you?
Another day, another cage of, poo to clean. And,
I was thinking the same. Another cage to mist and another defecation to clean up.
Yep, absolutely. It's the life we've chosen. Yeah.
And what a glorious life it is.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So listen, let's jump right in, man. For people who might not know you, what's kind of been your history in reptiles?
So like, where do you start, right? As a young kid, I started like picking up garter snakes and stuff like this in the yard, finding those, set up like a little tank with a bunch of dirt and sticks and fed them fish and things like this to keep them alive for a while. Always loved them at the zoos and things, of course, too, right? Like that was the main place to go. Any of the greater apes or the birds or the hippos, or no, let's just go to the reptile house. Let's go see what's going on over there. So kind of always there. Then ended up like working at a pet store for a while. Go figure, around the reptile department, fish too. Nobody would have ever guessed. That was cool. And somewhere along that line, I got like my first boa constrictor. Well, it was a rosy boa, so we'd be careful. Boa constrictor, boa imperator. Anyway,
it matters. It might,
but it does like that. I struggle with this one because I'm. Oh, it's a boa constrictor. Well, no, that means like this true red tail boas that right?
Yeah.
Did that. Kind of the pet store is great because it got a ton of opportunity to interact with way more animals and way more people about a bunch of that. Ended up breeding my first pair of red tail boas at that point, which was pretty cool, right? Kind of fun accomplishment. Did venomous stuff for a little while. That was fun. I guess I still do beadeds and helas, and so it kind of counts as venomous, but for whatever reason, people put them in like a different bucket, than when you're thinking like a cobra or squamager or something like this, or a gibbon.
Right.
So all of those I kept. I had a couple of different cobras, the squamager, a gab. The gaboon was really cool. They're a neat one.
Heck yeah, man.
His teeth are huge, man.
Yeah. The first time you see a gaboon fang next to something like a rattlesnake or really any other viper fang, you're just like, oh yeah, no, that can't ever happen. Like venom, from the venom standpoint aside, like danger of venom aside, you look at a tooth that size and you're just like, ow.
I mean, those times they would talk about those of like, oh, I mean, you could get lucky and it'll just bite all the way through your hand.
Right, exactly.
Fair.
Yeah.
Do not want. No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Hard pass.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no.
Yeah.
So anymore, none of those. Kept a bunch of stuff for a while. Kind of going to school and all these different things. Sold off a bunch of my collection, animals that I regretted. I still kept that rosy boa. He was phenomenal. He lived to be like, I had him 25 years, something like that. Long time.
Man.
Real long time. Buried in the yard. Anyway, sad.
Yeah.
So did those. Went to corporate life, all those fun things, and that. Somewhere along that journey, realized that, you know what? It's kind of the right time. I should get back into reptiles. Of those. The funniest piece of this, the one that really kicked it off, was I ebbed and flowed the whole time, right? Like when my wife and I were together, first together, and some of those are first married potentially. Time, I hope she's just not going to quote me on that one, but anyway. Somewhere along those, we had found we as a loose term, it was me. She was definitely not looking for pythons on Craigslist. But ended up finding a green tree python there on Craigslist, and that amazing, right?
Yeah.
But that poor animal had like 4 or 5 layers of stuck skin on it.
Oh man.
So, honey, like, come on, we can help them. And so, yeah, hours of sitting there soaking him, helping peel off the layers, all of that. Snake was pretty calm after that, especially, and pretty cool. we lost power for like 2 weeks, and despite boiling water and all these different things, unfortunate. So, but then fast forward, my wife loved that snake. And so we're still going to reptile expos and such. And she says, well, if you came back with a green tree python, that'd probably be okay. Well,
that's all it takes, man. The door is open.
Well, and I kind of kicked through that one probably a little harder than I should have, being that since I was a little kid, I've dreamed about Gila monsters, beaded lizards, all of that, working with those, and just that's been my dream. And so, well, good old Steve Angeli is there selling beaded lizards. Well, it's not entirely a green tree python, but ended up with my first beaded. And so that kicked us off back down the path as we looked at a bunch of those. And I'm very, very thankful for her support on all of this. So like this year was the first year that I realized that dream, and we got eggs from both from Gila monsters that we paired, right?
Yes.
Sadly, all the eggs were bad, but
it's still, still an accomplishment.
I've dreamed about it 30 years, long time, right? And so we got eggs. We have moved down the path. Check the box.
Yeah.
We got eggs from 2 different species of beaded lizards, the exasperatum and the horridums. Yes. A couple of those look viable. The incubator just kicked on to keep it in its right temperature. So, they're looking good. We're a couple months out from those ideally hatching. So super exciting. I feel like I got off topic of some of those a little bit, but
you're good, man.
So the other one that we're working with is I got a couple of different boa groups. And so I've got a call group. We have a pair of sharps, a pair of VPIs that were growing up. I was resistant to those for a long time, but when you put the IMG and the hypogene in there, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful animal.
Yeah, it is, man.
Gorgeous. And so have to play with that, I guess. And then potentially my favorite is the Hog Island boas. We got a big group of those guys to get genetic diversity and stuff in there. So we're not breeding siblings and all this good stuff. And they're pure.
Added plus for sure.
Yep. So there you go. There's a little bit on reptiles.
Heck yeah, man. I dig it. It's funny is like thinking back in my own journey with reptiles, like I did a very similar thing. It started with, you find stuff in the area. We had a neighbor down the street that owned a piece of property, and there were snakes all in his property. And when he found out that I like snakes, he had brought me a garter snake that he had caught on that property. And I was like, oh man, it's so cool, man. But from that, did the pet store thing, worked in the fish and reptile department and all of that. And you're just like, that's when you find out about wholesale lists and all of those great things you keep in the back of your mind. Oh, I could get like 6 of those now.
Or things show up on the list like a blue ring octopus, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not that much money.
Yeah. Yeah, right, exactly. And you're like, oh, no. Yeah, right, exactly. You tie that into you walk into Walmart and you see the sterilite aisle or whatever, and you're like, oh wait, hey, I remember on that list, I can get a few of those. Oh man. But heck yeah, man, I love it. Yep. And I'm all here for the boas. I'm a big VPI fan with the boa stuff, and I told myself if I ever decided to get back into BCI morphs and doing that stuff, like it was all gonna be centered around VPI, because that is just a beautiful animal. So I'm especially exactly like you said, when you add hypo and IMG in there, you're crushing it, dude.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since I know you are also a Amazon tree boa guy, I should probably add that I had a beautiful Amazon tree boa as well.
Heck yes.
When I was in school, I took a photography course, and pictures of him and pictures of a crested gecko were winners of different contests and stuff through that, and got stuck up around the school. So it's kind of
Heck
cool.
yeah.
Those are some other great animals.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I know today my YouTube video that went up was like, showing some of my favorite animals. And I purposefully said, I'm not going to pick an Amazon tree boa because you guys already know that's the number one. So this will be all the other favorites. Because I'm like, nobody's going to watch this. They're all going to know at some point I'm showing Amazon tree boas. So I'm like, I got to do something else.
Some of those that you showed, there's some beautiful animals in there. And so those were some good choices.
That, man. Thank you. Yeah, it really is hard to choose, but it's inevitable, man. At some point, somebody's asking me, well, what's your favorite one? What's your favorite animal you work with? I'm like, it's the Amazon tree boa. But I say that so much. I'm like, I feel like there's got to be a different answer at some point.
But there shouldn't be. Like, that's the good thing. That's how you found the one that you're passionate about and all of those, and it shows in the animals that you produce and that. And so, no, it doesn't have to change. I mean, my favorite is probably this beaded over there, mostly because she's still not totally sure, but she's like the first one that's super, super friendly, where she likes to come scratch at the side of the thing, and then you open it up, cool. Put your hand there. She likes to come hang out. And so
that's cool.
Rad. She's way cool.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. That's one of the things that's really interesting me with lizards. Like, because I work as a musician and I'm on the road a decent bit during the week, lizards just don't really make the most sense for me to work with. But it's something that I miss. Like when I was at Nerd, like one of my favorite things, just going into the monitor room and you open up an enclosure and a big water monitor wants to come out and just hang out with you. And one of the things that that's made me more frustrated about not being able to keep lizards is we're seeing so many of these other species that were kind of written off as just like, well, they are what they are, but they're never going to be peak intelligence like a water monitor or something like that. And we're starting to see like, no, that's possible. In some instances, we just needed to get a couple generations of captive breeding in, but now we're seeing, like when Rob and I had gone down and visited Tom Crutchfield's place, he had all those imported croc monitors that were chill as heck, and it's, of course, it's a croc monitor. It has any potential, so be respectful, be on your P's and Q's, but to have those kind of interactions, you're just like, whoa, wait, okay, hang on a second, this is interesting. And seeing it outside of the monitor realm, like with beaded lizards, heck, even with what are those, the emerald tree skinks, like just climbing right out onto people's hands and stuff. I'm like, that's never in a million years did we ever think that things like that would be happening with a lizard so far removed from something like a water monitor or something like that, that we know had that level of intelligence. So it's exciting to see, but also makes me sad because I don't have the capability to maintain lizards like that.
Well, I mean, a beaded lizard sounds like the perfect one for you. They're very much like snakes in that. Feed them once a week. Easy.
You don't have to pull my leg all that much. It's my other half who would probably be like, but that's venomous. That was like our one rule. And I'm just like, that's cool, man. I'm good. I don't need it.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing too, of like kind of how we started this. Okay. I mean, you touched on a couple fascinating things that I'd love to go into more. It is weird though, how like beaded lizards and Gila monsters, people are like, oh yeah, it's venomous, but they like stick it in this other side of their brain, which I don't understand, but still, I mean, maybe it's, oh well. But the other piece of that is you're exactly right. Like I've thought about that a lot, how when you think about the way the hobby was in like the 90s, even the early 2000s, and those where there were some people obviously beating that drum that like, these are way more intelligent than we expect. But it's super cool now looking at it of like how many more people are showing this, how much more, like exactly what you're saying, like that sentient side of it that we're seeing in so many more species and stuff now too, and is being recognized. It's pretty neat.
It really is. It really, really is. And there's just, I can appreciate that from so many different standpoints, but I think one being the most fundamental is like, for so long, especially like in Massachusetts, we saw like a lot of animal protection regulations and laws that basically kind of excluded reptiles 100%. The state had, basically had gone on record saying, reptiles aren't considered animals in the state of Massachusetts. They're like their own thing. But you can't have that retic. You can't have that retic here, but they're not animals, and now we're at this space where it's like, well, we're seeing some behaviors that, again, like we see with mammals, we see with these other animals that we easily welcome into our homes. And, so maybe it'll kind of get that switch to go off where people are like, okay, wait, they're not mindless, scaly, random monsters, that we thought they were for all these decades. So that is really, really intriguing to me for sure. Yeah, I love the fact that we're paying more attention to the animals, which for so many years, so many people have been talking about. Like, you can't figure out why this is happening or this is happening. What's your animal doing? They're telling you.
That, I mean, maybe a little tangential to that, but that is kind of like the other fascinating things where that you hear all these stories of people like, oh, I was having these failure to thrive problems and such. And then I changed the enclosure around and made it more naturalistic, added more sticks, added a different, any of these different things. And hey, go figure.
Yeah. Yes,
so,
exactly.
It's quite fascinating how that works. And so, and then even I think this one's maybe more selective breeding and some of that, or not even selective, but like, kind of accidentally, it's still what happens is like, look at ball pythons now compared to 25, 30 years ago. They're a pain. Get them to feed all the different stuff. Now, for the most part, you know what? Get the rodent like somewhat, or the prey item at least somewhat in the right range temperature wise, put it maybe in front of it, or just throw it in there with it, and it's probably going to eat and be fine, right?
Yes.
Way oversimplify. There's of course struggles on some of them sometimes, of course, but the majority of them, it's like it's flipped. You'd have those couple of them that were good eaters and stuff, but the majority weren't. And then now we're on the other end of the spectrum, which is also great for the animals, the hobby, everything.
Right. No, it's absolutely true, man. It's as we see more advancements in herpetoculture, whether it be, husbandry abilities or, captive breeding efforts, I think we're just going to continue to see more and more and more of these positive effects, which is wonderful. Before we continue on the tangent of how awesome reptiles are, though, we got to talk about Kingsnake, man. Kingsnake.com. You literally swooped in and saved it from certain destruction, so what was the reason? Why come in and save this platform that otherwise had been all but forgotten?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit of a lunatic, who knows? No, the amount of stuff that I learned on Kingsnake there's absolutely no way to measure it. The impact that it had, I mean, I would not have produced, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, right? But like, I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for that. If I didn't spend so much time reading there, seeing all these people that are huge names now that have produced, the first people to produce all kinds of stuff, all these different things. Had we not had that place where you could discuss this and where these people could figure that out of like, oh, hey, try this, and then we'll produce these animals. Let's do this, and they survive better, and these different things. And so then when I looked at like what was going on generally, right? Like Facebook and stuff has completely shut us down from selling animals, and that nobody really wants to sell animals on Craigslist anymore. That's not, it's probably less legitimate. And so, right, when you look back historically too, like the Marilia forums, remember when those went away and we just lost everything, like just gone into the ether?
Yep.
When I looked at those with Kingsnake and stuff, it was just very much one of those of like the community and the hobby need Kingsnake. Especially right now, it's the time where we need other options of where we can offer our animals. And I think when I got into it more and learned more from the previous owner in that it is it's its own server. It's its own servers, right?
Mhm.
We are not on Amazon's cloud. We are not on Microsoft's cloud. We are not beholden to big commerce or anybody else about
Mhm.
what's going to be published. When we look at the different things in the world, right? Like this is probably also very, very critical for us right now because like the prime example, I guess, would be thinking about any of the Facebook groups or any of these, right? You say the wrong thing in there, that whole group will get taken down. We'll lose
Right.
all the information, everything that's there. The same thing is that if you say the wrong word on most of these platforms, your entire post is removed.
Right.
And it's one where, look, I'm going to laugh when people holler at each other. You fill in the blank, whatever they want to call them. You're wrong because, right?
Yes.
With these other platforms, when that happens, we lose the of why you're wrong and that critical information that improves all of our knowledge and understanding.
Mhm.
And so when I looked at that piece, when I looked at the part of us needing as the community is needing other options of where we can communicate, post and sell animals and all these different things, I didn't want us to lose that foundational knowledge, and it felt critical to everybody to have those options.
Yeah.
So does that answer it at all, or did I get too off topic?
No, that's legit. That's perfect, man. That's perfect. And I think that's exactly right. I mean, we have had a lot of these forum spaces and stuff that have existed over the years that are just they're gone. And we're never going to get that stuff back, and we're lucky if some of those people, you know, by now have written some books or whatever that might, you know, kind of talk about those things. But outside of that, it's gone. The information is gone. And you know, I'll read a reptile book, you know, but the person that's just getting into it, they're on their phone, they're looking online, they're trying to find information, and there's some vital things that are just no longer around. So I think that is definitely enough justification to be like, hey man, we got to find some way to preserve this, dude, you know, because we've allowed some of our history to go away.
Yep.
You know, and of course, again, yes, there are some great people who've written some amazing books and all that stuff, but people aren't in digesting that kind of media the way they used to. So it's like, okay, well, in the modern age, this is what we would want to see, and it's not there. And instead you're left with 500 pages of why leopard geckos should be kept like arid, or should not be kept arid and should be kept tropical and whatever, because 16 YouTube experts said so. Like,
yep. And
you know,
and then I mean, then it becomes a problem too, right? Where some of these, then you've got whoever is moderating these groups that will then also remove different information or any of these. And that's one of the ones that's kind of the most important to me with Kingsnake, is to censor as little as possible on that, to really allow everybody to be able to speak and be heard on those and to share their point of view, you know, and the community and everybody gets to discuss what's right or wrong and have that discussion. So, right, like kind of the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You know?
I mean, and you know, I mean, especially when it comes to, you know, we think about the Kingsnake forum days, there were certainly plenty of back and forth arguments, you know, and in a lot of cases with titans of the species or of the, you know, whatever that was being discussed, the genetics, the this, the that. And, you know, somebody's experience that they're commenting on is based on their experience, you know, which might be vastly different. Both sides might actually be correct, you know, but you've got to understand both sides, you know. So yeah, I'm
100%.
with you on that 100%, dude. We need to be able to have that free form conversation. And it's like, hey man, if you're getting called an asshole down the line, you know, it is what it is, you know, but the information is there, and the laughs are there because of it, you know.
Well, Yeah, and that's the one where I go back and forth. I think like when they put asshole in there, I mean, this doesn't bother me, but to allow kids to go there and learn too, well, we remove that part. But then to your point,
Right.
leave the rest in there because it is. Titans was a great word to describe a bunch of those guys too. So yeah, because you're right. We should have that info. And
100%.
What I was going to say is you're right too, because like there is a key difference with me breeding reptiles here in the Pacific Northwest. It is a completely different situation here than it is if you're in Southern California or if you're in Texas or in Massachusetts, right? Like we get weird weather patterns that smash the barometric pressure and kind of trick them a couple more times compared to I have friends in Southern California that they're like, yeah, pretty much I can set my watch to when that my animals are going to lock. And it's going to be that day. And so, and so this is why somebody that's in the Pacific Northwest that's saying like, oh, hey, this happened and we do this and our animals breed. Somebody in Southern California, no, that doesn't work here. We all need to know both so that depending on where you are.
Right. No, it's 100% true, man. And it's like we've Rob and I have talked a lot about that on the podcast here is, like it's one of the reasons why I have a hard time jumping on board with like the videos or the content that's like, top 5 best whatever blank for husbandry or whatever, because the reality is between where you are in the country or in the world and what your setup is, if you've got a reptile room or if you just have one tank in your spare room, plays a huge difference on how you're going to set your animal up, just to maintain those husbandry parameters, so it's like, yes, okay, I can certainly agree X bedding is better at holding humidity than this. Sure. But if I'm the keeper that, has my ball python in a 4x2x2 and there's a heat pad and a lamp and then this light and this lights dry out cages in some instances much faster than heat panels, than under the tank heaters and all these things. But you're not taking that into consideration.
Yep.
So it's understanding all of these things. And if you've got one cage that's like that in a room that's already naturally dry, because, for the most part, humans don't want to be stuck in a sauna for every day of their life in their house, versus if you have a reptile room that's naturally more humid and higher in temperature because of all of the things going on.
Yep.
So it's hard to lock into those things. And a lot of people buy into it because, the explanations make sense, but the explanations make sense for that person and what it is that they're trying to do. So it's like, okay, that's why I always tell the first questions we ask people when somebody's inquiring about a husbandry thing is, well, what's your setup like?
Yep.
Do you have a reptile room? Is it, what's the tank look like? What's the cage look like, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not because we want to question your validity as a keeper. That's not at all where it's coming from. It's just coming from like, there's so many extra variables into what's going to give you the best experience, so we have to be able to address those things. And it might be as simple as, hey, instead of Eco Earth, the dirt form of it, try the cocoa coir, that's got more chunks to it. It might hold in that humidity a little bit better. Simple things like that.
Yep.
That's why we ask those questions.
And what I love about your answer too, is that it leads into that piece of you don't need to change your entire setup. Sure, a PVC enclosure is better than this. I have ones that are made out of 3/4 inch stuff. They're very different than my ones that are made out of 1/2 inch. And then there's other stuff around too that is also very different, especially compared to glass. And so to your point, hey, this substrate is phenomenal because all of my enclosures are fill in the blank. With you using this one, not quite as good. And so I love the way that you approach that one too with people, because that is more of the way of, okay, it's nothing against you. I'm just trying to figure it out so I can give you the best advice for your setup.
Right.
Brilliant, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. So with bringing Kingsnake back into the conversation, right? That's fundamentally that's job number one, right? Get people to talk about Kingsnake again, and the conversation not go to, well, I remember when. It's like, no, it's relevant. We're keeping it relevant. Let's move it into relevancy again. So we're doing that. Of course, one of the biggest things we've heard from people all over the place is like, man, it's just not user friendly. It's a very, it looks very antiquated. It looks kind of like a Craigslist, so how have you worked to kind of shift that, and you can even segue that into what's happened today, what's launched today?
I would very much like to just make some joke about how like we don't listen to people or anything like that, and they should just use it. But I think we've had enough conversations that that is not how I am at all.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I think that was like the top and first priority was Kingsnake is peak like 2005. It feels like it. And so here we are 2 decades later and a year. Let's maybe update it a little bit to bring it into at least the current decade. So that's what we started working on. As of today, we have released the first iteration of our new mobile-friendly Kingsnake. Which,
heck yeah, man!
I think that's kind of cool, man. Like, I mean, in 2 months, 2.5 months, barely to get that out, something that's functional and usable, and that. The couple, like the little asterisks that I will add to that is that it is only the classifieds that we have completed at this time, but still. I think that's a huge one, right? Because to your point, it was way confusing to look at all of those. It is 2026. We have had years of looking at beautiful images of stuff and looking at things of kind of a different way than just straight up text. So that's what we tried to build and what we tried to create for everybody. So right now, if you go to kingsnake.com and you click on the mobile button up on the top, that will convert you over to the new version of it and play around with the classifieds. If you post classifieds there, it'll post on the other side. If you post them on the other side, it'll post here as well. Some of that is something where we wanted to kind of maintain both because it is, I mean, it's there. It's like an old blast from the past, like,
right.
I still kind of like going through a bunch of it that way. There's cool things like you still go into the classifieds. I click on my state and I like to see who's around and who's offering stuff just local to me. Same thing with the expos and then the businesses and such as well, which I'll tell you more. Remind me on this point. I'll tell you more. But to bring it back to the classifieds and the users and releasing something mobile friendly in that. One of the other big ones that we realized was the photos. Yeah, look, back in the day, a bunch of us, we used our digital cameras. You took a picture, you pulled it onto your computer. It was just what you had to do. You didn't really have an option.
Right.
And so you knew how to take the picture. You would resize it. You do all the things. Like we all had some sort of software, at least something. And so nowadays, I mean, I can do everything from my phone. Also, our website is still kind of built on smaller images and some of that like 1,200 pixels wide. And so your phone's probably taken by like 5,000. You want to go resize that? Me neither.
Right.
So that was the other critical piece that we put in there and got ready for this release was where you can upload a picture from your phone and then we will resize it for you and put it in there properly. So that also I think is just like a huge one to make it easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is crazy how in those same 2 decades how far technology has gotten. And we're just riding that wave. Everything is very, very comfortable. I know I just took a whole bunch of pictures on my phone the other day for some Kingsnake classifieds and for the website for posting and stuff. And I was like, I remember pausing for a moment and being like, man, I used to have a camera that I did this with. And like, it is nice to be able to just do it all from my phone for sure.
There's a ridiculous, I mean, you were probably in the same boat. Remember, like, oh my God, it's 8 megapixels. Holy smokes, it's 12. I think my phone's got some 20 something on like the front camera or something absurd,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
right.
just come on.
Yeah. And there's when I upgraded my phone, it's like, oh, well, you can choose your phone settings and it will do all of these, or your camera settings. It'll do all of these cool things to change. I'm like, I just want to take a picture. I don't really care about all this. I just want to take a good picture,
Right.
but it really is crazy that's where we're at technology wise. So it's a huge help to have it auto resize for sure. And I know, like, one of the things that I had messaged you about was the fact that when you're looking at an ad, when you've clicked on it, if you want to go back, or if you want to go to look at the next ad in that category, you don't have to go back and then scroll and try to figure out where you were just at or anything. You can literally just click next ad.
Yep.
And it will take you right there. And that, like, to me, I was like, that's wonderful.
Yeah. If you want to nerd out on a couple other cool things that I love about our classifieds. So to that realm, kind of nice. You can click next and just see the next one, right?
Yeah.
In this day and age, like we just talked about how great a lot of these things are with technology. I also hate the algorithms that are thrown into what they surface first. For crying out loud, I have no trust for the computer, the AI, whoever wrote it, any of those to actually surface me what I want in the right order. So Kingsnake is built far more simply. If you posted your ad at the time of day before the guy that next posted it, yours is first. And then they just post in order. And so this way, when you go to scroll as a user or any of those, super easy. Hey, I checked at 5 o'clock. I don't really, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look a little beyond that too. Just in case I missed something. I probably didn't, but there was that one back there and I want to look at it again. Right. So I think that's something that is really important to me, that it keeps it easy, clear for the users. But the other part of that too is it makes it very, very fair for all of the sellers, right? Doesn't matter if you're big or small. You post at that time, you're there. Nobody's elevating you because that you've gotten more clicks or whatever lies we want to be told about the algorithm as to why it works the way it does, right? No, just let's make it fair for everybody. And to that point too, the other one that keeps it fair is that so we have the two. We have this basic classified and then the enhanced or premium, depending on where you click. We're fixing it, sorry. But with the enhanced, with the standards, you're able to post 8 ads per day per category, whereas the enhanced, you're only allowed to post 12. This is another one that I think is very, very good for the community. It keeps everybody fair, all of these things as well. So you can't just blast up the classifieds with 100 animals.
Right.
And then the other piece of that is the ads expire every 30 days. So there's no 2-year-old, 6-month-old stale ads sitting up there of questioning that, nor again, when we think about like those crazy algorithms, blocking out some new guy that's trying to come through that's produced gorgeous animals. So I really am, this is like a key one to me, is kind of that fairness and that equal playing field for everybody.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it is definitely, it's frustrating, like for somebody like myself that might produce, if we go into ball python land, I might produce 100 to 200 ball pythons a year annually, right? Duh, because I said a year. Redundancy. But if I go to post all of my 100, in one day, great. That's awesome for me. But also now, when the next guy, I'll pick on somebody like Justin Kabelka, who's going to produce, thousands. Because that's just inevitably where he's at. That's awesome. If his person that's posting ads is going to go post another 100, suddenly I'm now buried under 100 ads, and that's just from one company. So yeah, I 100% agree, especially with species that, and don't hate me for saying this, people, but for species that are so morph driven and are appealing honestly, regardless of what they are, there's no way to then really successfully navigate that. 100 beautiful ads of wonderful ball pythons. My eyes are tapped out after that. I'm sorry, I'm not going past page 3 here, if I'm just doing a general search, so to have that kind of dialed in and be like, okay, it's between 8 and 12 ads, go post all 12. That's great. Do it and come back tomorrow and post another 12. And there'll be some fodder in between from the other people doing it. I think some people may get annoyed by that, but fundamentally, to the point of fairness, I think that really is key for those who are like, man, I only produced 1 clutch of ball pythons that I would like to post for sale. I have 4 or 5 ads that I'm going to post and recycle until they sell.
Yep.
If that's now buried under 1,000 ads, it's just, no wonder why you're not making those sales on the platform, because nobody can find it. So,
right.
Yeah,
well,
I'm 100% with you on that.
Well, you gave like the most beautiful explanation there too, where you're like, look, I'll look at 100 of them. My eyes are tapped out. I need to go take a break. I need to do something else. And so thinking about that one, as you said, it would be easy for you to post 100. It'd be easy for 15 other people probably that you could think of to post 100. Whereas now, if you could only post 12, then that batch of 100 that you could look at, that's easily 10 to 12 people that you're now seeing rather than just one before you're tapped out. So right. I like how your example just very much proved how much better that is for everybody. Well played, sir.
100%, man. And I think it's in the spaces where you're looking at, large or animals that are produced in large quantities, ball pythons, crested geckos, bearded dragons, like all these things, the common pet species, where it's like, it's inevitable, there's going to be a lot of animals that are available. That's awesome. It's awesome that people have figured it out. It's awesome that people have got their own ideas and they want to have that experience. But it's not awesome when you've got to fight to sell it simply because somebody posted 7,000 ads in one day and you were the unlucky soul that posted right before them. So your stuff is gone, and there's no way you're getting back up in that. And it doesn't make any sense for something like, maybe Amazon tree boas or Pituophis or stuff like that is produced in far less numbers. Maybe that matters to you a little less, but at the same time, as more people come into the space and start posting, you're going to value that more simply because you want it. Healthy competition has been one of the things that's allowed this industry to survive for as long as it has, and who knows, maybe because you're not buried under 1,000 ads, you're going to see something that you might like that now you can reach out to that person with and say, hey man, I just saw you posted this, I've got one of these. Do you want to trade? Or, like it opens up the potential for that much more community development, which I think is great also.
Yes. Thank you. I agree. It feels like the right thing for everybody. I think the other side of that too, though, that we also need to do is that for those people that produce, 100 ball pythons, 1,000 ball pythons, any of that, the reality is that in that group of animals, you've got a bunch of gorgeous animals that are going to sell real quick. You've got some holdback animals. You've got some other ones that'll sell, but then you've got some less visually appealing animals that you still need to move. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of pet stores and things like this throughout the country that need good quality animals. So we are actively building a B2B and commercial side of this. I don't have a good term for it yet. We'll figure it out. If people have ideas, message me. Please tell me what we should do it. So we're building that because this I think is also critical to the hobby, right? So that as somebody that produces a bunch, now you have a place where you can go offer those only to pet stores, distributors, somebody like this, only they can see it, so that you're not telling the public that, hey, these corn snakes that we produced, I will sell them for $10 a piece. you know, or something like this. I shouldn't have been so specific maybe, but but it keeps the market the way that it should. It keeps the wholesale piece and the businesses doing business to business sale that's very, very different out of the B2C side of things. As I've talked with some other people about this as well, it has been brought up about how that would actually help curb flippers and some of this as well, which not a bad thing either. It's a good point. Fair point.
Yeah.
Mostly,
absolutely.
Yeah. So mostly I want to make it easy for pet stores and stuff too, for them to be able to get great quality animals and help everybody that's producing a bunch move them too, and all these good things, right? Again, this benefits the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when you first told me about that idea and I was like, oh my God, yes. Like we need that like now, like yesterday. We needed that 7 years ago. That's what we needed. But yeah, I mean, exactly that. It's as if you've existed in this business long enough and you produce in any sort of large quantity, and I'll go as far to say it's large quantity being any specific singular species, and when you're producing over 100 individuals of that species, to where you're going to have exactly that example. Some great animals that you want to sell, you know, and get your best dollar for, some holdback quality animals, and then everything else that you've produced that you're like, you know, these are still great. These are awesome animals. They just might not be what's hot in the market, you know, for other diehard reptile folks, but for the people just getting in, maybe this is the perfect entry-level step, and the majority of those people are going to be going to pet shops.
Yep.
They're going to the mom and pop shop. And, you know, exactly to that point, like without impeding on the integrity of the hobby, the business, the project, you can now move those animals B2B, get the business done as it needs to be done, and it doesn't need to be publicized everywhere. There's a reason why a lot of wholesale companies are like, well, cool, here's fill out this application, and that application includes your business EIN, like all these things, so that they know you're legit, because they don't want to deal with people who aren't and are just trying to get things on the cheap, you know. So I absolutely love that idea. Like I said, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh my God, yes. You know, so to have that extra layer just means that much more, because, you know, again, we've seen it, and we had discussed this at length, but we've seen it happen in so many other platforms where, you know, people get into breeding reptiles because they're excited about reptiles. They love the opportunity, but they don't necessarily have the foresight and the expense side, and quickly realize, I'm in over my head. I got to move these things. You know, it's fine. It happens. It's a learning experience, both with the animals and in business. But in order to keep that validity to a project, there's got to be a way to source it out. And now, granted, the person that might be in that predicament might not actually be a legitimate business owner at that point in time. But to get to a space where the business owner can say, okay, well, I produced 100 ball pythons. These 45 or 50, I don't really want to bother posting. I think they're just going to get lost because they're not exactly on par with what's selling really well. But I think these would be great in a pet shop. Here's the out. You know, here's how I can move them, and they still have value. You know, because fundamentally these animals still have value, whether you're going to wholesale them or not, you know. But to be in a space where I don't have to now tank a project's value just to move it, because that's that is very much what is happening in a lot of the commonly bred species spaces, simply because there's so many produced, and there's no control on how much is getting posted from who, you know, at all. So it's just, okay, well, I've been buried for 6 months and I don't want to have to post the same ad every other day, you know, just to get seen, maybe, like,
right.
You know, and it's bulk uploading options and everything are wonderful. They have their place. They are awesome. When the time is right and you're able to use it, it's a great feature. So you're not sitting there killing your fingers typing things in. But in order to maintain business integrity and fairness across the board, it just doesn't work. It's as simple as that. It just simply doesn't work. So many great ideas, and I know that I can easily just go on tangents forever. But so you have so many great ideas for Kingsnake, and I'm excited to see where it's all going to go. So now we've entered into the space of mobile friendly is now launched, the beta version. We're in the space. What is the next step? What's the next thing that we can expect out of kingsnake.com?
Yeah, well, it's partially there now. So if you go to our site, you will see ads for Reptiles to You offering shipping at 65% off. If I understand, the way I had understood this is that the other best shipping around in the market was 60% off, or if you were one of the special members, it was 65. And so as we knew that we needed to do something with shipping and that, however, I talked to a bunch of shippers. Many of them wanted me to resell shipping. I don't want to do that. It doesn't really feel appropriate in kind of the space and with the role and the site and those different things. If that makes sense at all, it doesn't feel appropriate to me. And so when I thought about that one and when I looked at all of those, what I would rather do is have a shipping page where you can go there and get quotes from the different shippers, and then you pick who you want to use and what's best. And so to start that, we talked to a bunch of them. Reptiles to You, they have great shipping rates right now. It started to get posted a couple of places, which I thought was really neat, that the rates are within 50 cents, 40 or 30 cents of the other rates. And so that I'm very thrilled with this, that, people are happy about this, that the community has other options in that. Again, good for business, good for the community, all these different things, right? So first off, we'll build a shipping page that you will be able to get a quote from Reptiles to You for your shipping. You just enter DIMS to and from and your weights, and then you'll get a quote. If that makes sense to you, you'll click a button and you'll slide over to Reptiles to You and complete your purchase of your shipping label. So I would hope that in the future that would expand to the community being able to get quotes from other shippers and such. They're similar. We'll see how that one progresses. At this stage, I am beyond thrilled that the community has another option for shipping that's reasonable, that's about the same price, and that we get to be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge as well. And I did see the Reptiles to You logo on the website earlier today, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, here we go. We're moving into that space. I'm all for it. I think, kind of like what we were just talking with the business stuff, bringing fairness back into the industry is huge. And I know, like, we've had conversations in the past where, trying to figure out the niche of Kingsnake, right? Because it is inevitable, because it's just how people are. It's how this industry is. Comparisons are going to be made, right?
Yep.
On multiple platforms. It is what it is. That's just what it's going to be. So the niche of Kingsnake, especially because it's the open space, it's the safe space where all can communicate, where everybody can learn, and again, that includes through argument.
Yeah. 100%.
That the niche of Kingsnake is for the serious keeper and or hobbyist. And serious keeper / hobbyist doesn't mean you have to have a certain number of animals. It doesn't mean you have to keep a certain species. It just means that you really love your animal and you want to get access to as much of industry as possible, and again, you could have one ball python. You could have one leopard gecko, but you're so in love with that. You're so serious about that you find your way over to Kingsnake, and you've now found a plethora of information, guidance from so many different sources, and other people that you can learn from through looking at the classified ads and finding breeders in your state, finding shows in your state where you can now go communicate with people. And certainly those opportunities and options can be found elsewhere, but here you're in a space where there's no censorship based on ideals or ideologies or anything like that. It's a genuine open space for legitimate conversation, legitimate education, and a fundamental desire to take your reptile keeping journey to the next level and be around people that want the same. And that is the niche of Kingsnake, and that's where I think the integral value of Kingsnake will be unmatched for forever.
I think you're right. And like everything you said, I think is accurate. And we worked hard. My wife and I spent a ton of time talking about this to figure out, how do we sum that up? And we found 2 sentences. Kingsnake makes you smarter. Kingsnake is for everyone. I think those 2 sum up all of that, right? Because if you are a new hobbyist and you're learning about your animal, perfect. We have we will have the basic introduction to all of that. Mm-hmm. If you are just going to start your journey breeding animals, same thing. There'll be that basic introduction to that. Now that you've finished your, freshman year of college through those and your 101 courses, well, hey, how deep you want to go? You go through here and get your doctorate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that this is going to be a reality. Mm-hmm. Being at Pomona, this was the last weekend, the weekend before.
Yeah, this past weekend. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is perfect because I was literally just about to segue into it. So yes. Yeah.
Oh, hey. But being there this last weekend was incredible, quite frankly. The number of people that are absolute experts in their field that want to participate, that want to contribute articles, that want to share their knowledge and stuff. Like, to your point, many of them were lucky enough that they've written a book. But if we can take some of that too and help put even just part of that, all of this, my mind spiderwebs into this one of like how far that can go. And there's a couple of things that I really hope could go, but that's its own, but that's the side of it too, right? Like if we have those deep scientific articles and things as well, one of the guys that we're working with, Don, he is extremely good at being able to take those dense scientific articles and then give like a 2 or 3 paragraph or sentence, explain like I'm 5 to introduce you to it. Like, yes. I think this is another one of those critical ones where Kingsnake fills that gap and is that central hub for the community, making us smarter, whatever level that you're at with that of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Now I've got like that little blurb that I can sit and think on and stuff and kind of plugs into some of my other stuff. And then a month later, 6 months, 18 months, whatever it is, you know what? I want to go much, much deeper on it. I'm going to read that article and 4 other ones through the whole thing. And at this point in my journey, I understand all those huge scientific words that they're using, and my Latin is better.
Right. Yes. No, I love that, man. So I think Kingsnake being at Pomona is probably the first national expo that platform has had a presence in at least 15 years.
I mean, I was gonna say at least 10. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. So what was the overall reception like?
Thrilled. Like it was. So there's 2 things. It was humbling, wonderful, delightful. How many people that have been around came up and talked to me. How many people were thrilled that Kingsnake is staying around, that Kingsnake was saved, that I'm going to make updates to it, and that we're going to bring it into the modern decade, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. Thrilled that we have options in the community and that as well. So that was a great piece. I realized kind of 2 big things as well. One, I only had our new logo up there. Probably would have been way smarter to have the old one there too, is kind of remind all of us that have been around for a while, like, oh yeah, it is that same one. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I learned, but
Yeah.
and then that's okay though, right? The other big thing that I learned was that people that have been in the industry still like 5, or I guess confirmed is more accurate. People that have been in the industry even like 5 or 7 years, which is a long time. I censored myself. It's a long time. Uh, that even those guys and gals, like a lot of them don't know about us because Kingsnake had kind of faded off in that time. And so I've been trying to figure out what the proper term for this is to like kind of reintroduce ourselves to all the OGs and that remember us from back in the day and that, you know, used us to debate with one another and grew up on or with, or, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that group of us. How do we need to reintroduce ourselves to everybody there. And then we also need to just frankly introduce ourselves to the people that have been in the hobby 5, 7 years that don't know all the great things that are here.
Right.
And so, but with that said, you know, we had a ton of people that are thrilled about it, that are excited about even the forum piece of it. I was also thrilled how many people were thrilled about my hatred for censorship, and that that there will be less, you know, just random bans or removals or any of these different things, that, you know, they really can go have a genuine discussion, that they can say that they're we're on YouTube, right? So I gotta be a little careful, but
Yeah.
So that they can say things about like their animals, like when they breed them, that some of the babies don't survive or any of these different things, right? And so
Right.
being able to have those real discussions, because when we remove the deformed animals and stuff from that discussion, people don't see it and they don't have a good expectation of what can happen. It's just like, oh, I'll put this beautiful animal here and I'll put this beautiful animal here, and they have these cool genes, and then like this gorgeous thing's gonna pop out. Mostly,
I mean, yeah.
but also like there's weird things that happen because it's life, you know?
Yeah.
And so having a space where we can fully discuss these things and that people can be fully introduced to what's going on there.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love. And yeah, I think that is an interesting space. Number one, I'm so stoked to hear that people were excited about Kingsnake, whether they were just excited to see it, you know, staying around, or excited to just learn about a brand new option and things to discover. That both of those are very, very exciting for sure. It is an interesting space to be in, of like, well, the OGs who grew up with Kingsnake or on Kingsnake, whatever, they won't be hard to recapture, you know, really at all. They're like, yeah, man, like this is where it all happened, dude. You know, that's easy. That's the easy demographic. That's just a matter of showing up and shaking hands and saying like, hey, come back, you know, like let's revisit some fun times. But yeah, now introducing yourself to the new wave, that is the trickier waters to navigate, that I would say. And I think a large portion of that is going to be, I would think, through media, social media content specifically, because that's how so many of these keepers within that date range, that 5 to 7 year or less, that's where the majority of those folks are getting their information, you know, has been online and, you know, through the primary platform that's been available, because that's all they've ever experienced. So yeah, so it makes me excited, because it's like it's time to get creative.
Yeah,
you know, it's time to figure out the ways to get into these spaces, but fundamentally having Kingsnake have a presence at a place like the Reptile Super Show, at a place like a Daytona or a Tinley, those spaces. Fact of the matter is, I don't know what the numbers were for this Pomona show, but I know it's last year there were over 20,000 people through the door.
Yep.
And I would expect probably about the same this go around. That's huge. That is really huge. And you know, like I remember we had conversations before. One of the fundamental things I remember about John Lehman, the founder of Morph Market, was seeing him at the shows, shaking hands with him, being able to have conversations.
For this,
you know, and to have Kingsnake kind of be doing that as a resurgence. Again, the folks that know Kingsnake, they're just going to be stoked.
Yep.
But now you have the chance to meet and connect with those people, and to the point, you're so willing to take information and ideas from people, and that to me is what's going to make this entire project that much more successful.
Yep.
You know, because you're in business, so you know not everybody's going to be made happy by everything. It's, you know, it is what it is. But you're now looking at a space of, okay, the landscape of the industry has changed so much in the past 5 years, let alone the past 20, you know. So now it's navigating that again. Like I said, that's exciting because now it's time to get creative and how to bring that to the forefront. And like I said, I think expos, being at the shows, is a great first step. You know, just to getting people to start talking about, you're Kingsnake, kingsnake.com. What? You know, like that is so fundamentally epic, you know, for what's about to happen. And I'm just so stoked that you were so well received by everybody at the show.
It was delightful for sure. And it was really cool then, like the second day where a ton of vendors had our stickers and stuff on their table too that they were giving out as well. And so many of them, you know, I've seen your shirts everywhere. You know, one of the hands down, I think like one of the funniest ones was one of the vendors. He's like, man, I'm thrilled you're back. Like, I'm seeing your shirts everywhere. Like this, I'm so excited about all this. And then he got like super giddy and basically yells. And he goes, I saw Johnny Venom wearing one. That guy's awesome. And so it was, you know, like it was super cool, man. Like it's delightful how excited everybody is about it, and to your point, I mean, I see it as one where the community is going to spend time on the different platforms. Like we're all going to have options, right? But I think the reality is that the majority of us, like when you think about like the bell curve, right? Mm-hmm. The majority of us are going to spend time on both platforms because they both have different parts that are appealing and good for us. And so that's the way it should be. And then some of us are going to spend a little more time on one compared to the other. And that's just kind of the way it is. But it all ends up being good for the community.
Absolutely.
I could transition into something else that I'm like super excited about that we're going to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So along the lines of making us smarter and being for everyone, historically, expos have had to pay to post their expo on Kingsnake. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. That doesn't feel right for making the community smarter and making the community aware of what's going on. So we're immediately making that change where expos will be listed for free. So,
oh man,
I just want them all up there because like, I think about that back when I was a kid, right? Like early 2000s, any of this, I wanted to go to expos. The only place I knew where to find them, Kingsnake was the easiest. I go click on my state. I click on the states around me and see what was going on. And so we need to put that out for the community and do that way. Along those same lines, exotic veterinarians. We have the business listings so that breeders, pet stores, all of these guys can list. That kind of makes sense, right? Like you should have to pay to advertise your business or your pet store and stuff. Mm-hmm. However, the exotic veterinarians, that's more of a like, you're having an emergency, man, and that you need help. where are they? Who can I go to? Who's good? And so if we can list those out, the same thing, because our system is already built based upon regional stuff. You go click on your state, find out, scroll through real quick. Now you have a beautiful, easy resource for that in that time of crisis, or even preventative early on as you're getting into the hobby. Well, I need to find a good vet. Who do I go to? Who's around? Bam. You call them, check with them, any of the different stuff, right? So
I love that.
Thank you. I think this is a critical one for the community.
I absolutely think that both of those things are huge. Definitely, like anybody who's been in reptiles long enough knows that finding a vet can be a challenge for sure. So yeah, having a resource where you can just boop, I'm here, I need this, that's tremendous for sure. And then expos, man. Like, yeah, we get it. It's a business, but also this is how the industry grows and develops. I mean, like I just said, 20,000 people through the door at the Reptile Super Show. That's even if 50% of those people didn't like reptiles,
right?
That's still a huge number of people that do.
And the other half, and the other half that don't, they still went there to go learn or have it be a zoo or any of these things, which still, I mean, like, man, we met some incredible parents and stuff there this last weekend too, where they're like, no, we don't have reptiles. I am afraid of snakes. I don't like bugs, but my child loves them. And so we're here to do this. Yes. Phenomenal. As you learn, jump on Kingsnake. You learn a bunch of stuff up here too, right? But it was
absolutely
so many great parents doing that and supporting their kids and all of that through it and everything too. And I think there was even one that came back after they ended up getting one, and just so I might be mixing up two people, because there's a couple that came back after picking up stuff to show us like the rad stuff that they picked up. And so but yeah, this is great.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to just see Kingsnake come back into the mainframe and really just flourish in this new space that is the modern reptile era. You know, it really is exciting. So is there a task or a feature or something that you're pushing to bring at some point that's just one of those, like, I really want to do this, but it's not a necessity in this moment, but it's something that I want to do with the platform?
There are, for sure. I can't think of one like right off the top of my head. Mostly I think because I'm like hyper focused on these couple right now. It's been, I get the mobile friendly version out so that this is easier for people. We still have a ton of work there to make sure that we get the forums moved over and update a bunch of these other pieces.
Right.
But hey, like, we need classifieds like immediately, right? That the community needs this. The shipping page, that's another one where I'm super, super excited about this, because again, I think it creates good competition for everybody, and the people in the hobby, all of us benefit from it. Right. So I'm really, really excited about that part of it. And then the expo one, like, that one's cool. I'm excited to make that one free and like get a bunch of those listed in that, but I'm way more excited about the vet piece of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And since I see all of these as being like relatively close, then I don't know. So I'm the most excited about those. The B2B side is going to be really, really cool. Or here's another good one. We heard from a couple of different people at Pomona about how they wanted a classified section for artwork. Yes,
because there are some amazing artists in this industry.
Yes. And when we think about those two, of like, so many of us want incredible reptile art, and we don't want stuff that has extra fingers, right?
Yes.
Not polydactyl cats.
Yes.
So we, based on that feedback in that, we currently have a art section in our classifieds. So it is there. It is available now. I am super excited for us to see the wonderful artists start filling that up and having people be able to connect.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be awesome, because there's so many folks that do such great artwork in this industry. And so that will be, I'm excited. And I'm excited to see, because of course you've got people who've been around for a long time. They've probably got pieces of art that they might be willing to put up that, you know, artists are no longer with us, or just rare drawings or pieces like that is going to be so exciting to see, for sure.
And I agree completely. I'm almost as excited about that section as I am about like the book section, and keeping an eye on that one, because I absolutely love some of those. And kind of like you said, like I've seen a couple of those pop up of like the original drawings of some, or prints of the original drawings of like Heloderma and some of those different ones. And it's just, yes. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yep.
Heck yeah, man. And hey, look, you know, if your parent or significant other won't let you buy a living animal, you know, you can get a really cool painting or drawing or any sketch, whatever, of a really cool reptile that one day you could potentially have.
Exactly. Worst case scenario, you got a beautiful one on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's cheaper. It's 100% cheaper. That upfront cost might suck, but you don't have to feed it. No lighting, no nothing.
Well, let's be real. That upfront cost is probably not that different than some of the animals.
Also true. Oh man, dude, this is all really exciting stuff. I'm so stoked for the future of Kingsnake. I'm excited about our partnerships in the future, everything that we've got going on. You know, of course, mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, if you missed it, Kingsnake is a sponsor of the podcast, sponsor of the YouTube channel, all that awesome stuff. I'm so stoked to be able to be on board and helping to spread the word about Kingsnake and get people excited about Kingsnake. Yeah, man, I'm so stoked about it all, dude.
Hey, same, man. And I mean, I should have called that out as well, as like, I mean, along the lines of ones that are delightful and just like wonderful people wanting to be part of it. Thank you. Thank you for wanting to spread the word. Thank you for your support, man. Like, you have exceptional content. I like your style and all of it. And the way that you share information in that, like, you are a great person in the hobby and a great example to so many. Thank you for everything that you do, man.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. I love these animals, man. I love these animals, and I love people that love these animals and want to be a resource. You know, I've had a long career, but I've had a lot of really lucky experiences, and that's moved me into a lot of awesome places, and had the great experiences to work with so many different great people and animals. And it's like, man, to be able to share that's what it's all about, because I'll never get tired of talking about reptiles ever. Ever. I'll tell you a funny story before we wrap up, because we've certainly gone over the hour mark, but I don't care. This has been a great conversation.
Perfect.
So I think pretty much everybody who's paying attention knows I'm a musician. So I travel for music and do all that stuff. I went to NAMM, which is the North American Music Merchants Convention that happens in Anaheim every January. And I went there. I was playing with an artist and was having, I'm having a good time. It's literally like the place for musicians and artists. Like Stevie Wonder shows up every year. Like it's crazy. It's a great time, right? I'm walking around and somebody stops me and they're like, I know who you are. And I'm looking at this person like, I've never seen you at all. I have no idea who you are. And he's like, you work with Kevin from Nerd. And I was like, how am I in the biggest music space in the freaking country and I'm getting recognized for snakes? Something is really ridiculously wrong right now. But it was so awesome to be in that other space of my life and have somebody who's totally no connection who was like, I saw one of these crazy videos, and I was like, that's the guy from that video with Kevin, the weird crazy guy with all the crazy snakes. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And I talked to them for like a half an hour, about snakes at this music convention, but it was one of the coolest moments. For me, it was like a full circle moment of like everything that I do is connected in some way, shape, or form. And I'll talk about music as long as I'll talk about snakes. So it was cool either way. But that was a moment where I was like, all right, I guess snakes are winning in my life. Snakes are definitely winning.
Well, I mean, then I'll tell you, I think this has happened to me as well, where so my main I spent a ton of time working in like big tech companies, and I no longer work for corporate and work for myself, helping a couple of brands do this. One of my clients is they make some cool automotive parts, and they're actually total other side of the country, ended up here. We're all having dinner and stuff, and we're chatting and stuff. I told them like, they know that I do all this. And so the one guy's like, oh, John, like, how's the reptile stuff going? Blah, blah. And then the owner goes, oh, what kind of reptile stuff you do? We talk for a little bit, and he goes, yeah, my wife used to breed Burmese pythons back like, 20 some years. Yeah. What? And so it's like, are you kidding me? He goes, yeah, no, here, let me call her real quick. He calls her up. And so we start talking about stuff and everything. And we're just kind of chatting for a few. And I told her that I bought Kingsnake, and she's like, I sold so many animals on that place. Just same thing.
That's awesome.
He was floored, as you can expect. Yeah. He's like, I didn't expect that. I mean, I knew you're good at what you do for us and those different things, but I didn't know you were so. And yeah, it's cool though. Like, that's what I like about the community, is that it is so much bigger now. I mean, okay, sorry, one more quick one. I was at Costco wearing my Dragon Serpents shirt for that one. And the guy's like, oh, do you have dragons? I mean, like kind of, we have like bearded lizards and Gila monsters. Oh, shit. Sorry. He's like, oh, my favorite nephew, he breeds, I think he said boa constrictors. It was ball pythons, but it's fine. And so funny enough, I knew his nephew from expos and stuff. Phenomenal guy. And
that's hilarious.
Just this random guy that grabs me at Costco while we're waiting for pizza.
Yeah.
But that's
awesome,
thing.
Man.
Talked to him for 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was, about, while we're waiting. And it's just, the community is awesome this way. And I'm very, very thankful to be able to provide something that should be extremely valuable to them. And that I'm thankful for how excited everybody is about it. And so thank you, everyone. And thank you.
Absolutely, man. I'm so stoked too. Okay. I've got one more to tell too.
Yeah, do it.
Now I'm like going through the mental storybook. So I remember visiting home up in Massachusetts, went out to dinner with a few friends of mine. It was kind of later in the evening, and I was like, man, let's all get together. We'll go to the bar. We'll go to some local restaurant, get some food. As we're walking in to the restaurant, somebody's walking out, and I just hear, hey, and I'm like, uh-oh. The restaurant wasn't necessarily in the greatest part of town, so I'm like, uh-oh, what's about to happen? And it's, hey, so we all turn around, and we're like, what you? And he points at me, and I'm like, I don't live here anymore. I don't know what you want. Like, what do you want? He's like, you work with Kevin. And I was like, McCurley? Because that's literally the only Kevin that I have ever worked with. I've never worked with anybody else ever named Kevin. He's like, yeah, you guys got that white king cobra. And I was like, what? Literally, and my friends are looking at me like, what the hell is happening, right?
It's wonderful crazy. Though, isn't it?
Like, it was really cool. It was cool to have that happen, because I'm like, when you think about levels of exposure in this industry, like, I tell people all the time, like, we breed snakes, we breed lizards. Like, we're not out here doing superhero things. We're doing what's cool to us, our little weird, quirky things. I'm like, there's maybe 2 or 3 folks within our industry that I would say have ever made it to a level of legitimate fame that could walk down the street and get recognized like a legitimate celebrity. So to have had a moment like that, I was just like, I'm like, wait, what is this is weird, guys. Like, this never happens.
But that's the cool thing too, though, right? Is because that, like, those ones tell you that you have helped other people. Like, you have shared your passion with others, and they saw that and they loved it and wanted to tell you that they're that passionate and excited, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I love that about the hobby. And on that side too, going back to Pomona,
Mhm.
I think this is one of my favorite things, was how many people told me, like, oh, I used to work with like a bunch of these and this, that, and the other thing, but really I'm pulling it down to what I'm passionate about. And so many of them were like these weird, I don't mean weird, but like these obscure little niche animals and different stuff.
Yes.
And they're so, sorry, they're so excited about all of it, right? That
Yes.
it's amazing. And I think that the part that I think made me the happiest about it is it explains what I've been seeing at the expos over the last short period, is
Mhm.
significantly more diversity in animals. And
Yes.
I think that's because of, we kind of like went through that cycle, right? Like, everybody got into it with something easy and had a bunch of fun, and there's like, oh shit, did you know these are out there? These are really cool. I'm just gonna go down the rabbit hole as deep as I can go, and I'm gonna breed these and work with this.
100%.
That is a delightful place for the hobby to be heading.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And I forgot who I was just having that conversation with, where I was like, we've seen the boom of business within the industry. That's awesome. But to that exact point, the more folks you talk to, the more you start to hear the stories of like, yeah, I've had all this blah, blah, blah. But, I've always really liked, gray banded king snakes. And I just, I sold like everything, and I just got some really awesome gray banded king snakes. And, hell, I've gone through that whole thing with the Amazon tree boas, where, like, yes, I still have many other animals, but if you asked me 10 years ago, if I had to get rid of everything but one species, what would it be? I wouldn't be able to give you an answer. I'd short circuit. Now I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, cool. I'll just have Amazon tree boas everywhere, and you can find me by following the trail of blood. But but yet people finding that one species or two species that they just really lock in with, I love seeing that. And I love seeing that people not only enjoy keeping, but when they decide to enter in that space of like, I want to try to breed these things, I want to have the full experience, and they have that successful moment. Rob experienced that with the scrub pythons. As long, Rob and I have known each other for probably 15 plus years. Scrub pythons were like, and to watch him get his first one, raise it up, do all of the right things, and then finally have that clutch. I will never forget when he sent me that first Instagram video and was like losing his mind with these giant pearly whites in with that female. And I was like, oh, dude, this is so awesome. Like,
yep.
That's so epic to see. I love that, because that is what's going to keep the hobby around longer than anything else.
100%.
Is that
100%.
level of dedication when you're like, dude, I've got, it could be rubber boas. It doesn't matter, but just like, if that's the thing that locks you in, then you be the best damn rubber boa keeper you can be, man.
Yeah. And then tell us about it, right? Go on Kingsnake, tell us about it. Share some of those things.
Yes.
Share the passion, like the little obscure things that you found that, like, I'm excited for where it seems the hobby and the community are going. It seems like really, really good things.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. We just kind of answered what I was going to say was going to be our last question, because as we round things out, John, we always ask our guests one final question here on the podcast, and that's, what in the realm of reptiles, be it something with Kingsnake, something in your collection, something you've seen. What in the realm of reptiles has you excited about reptiles right now?
I mean, that you make me want to just say something really vague like Kingsnake, so it can encompass all kinds of things. But no, I think you're right. I think we just kind of answered it. It's those things. I'm excited about Kingsnake. I'm excited about us having that space to communicate, for all of us to learn and become that much smarter. And I'm extremely excited that that comes at the same time where people are choosing to dive deeper into their passion and finding more of these niche animals and rare animals and stuff. And those are the ones that they want to go full force into. So I think lots and lots of good things coming.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm so here for it. So now, of course, outside of kingsnake.com, if people want to follow more of the journey, figure out and see some of the awesome animals that you work with personally, where can people find you?
The best one is my Dragon Serpents Instagram. That I do have the public Jon Poff Facebook, but I'm terrible about a bunch of these. Like, social media is not my strength. The best would be reach out to me through Kingsnake or any of those, or through Dragon Serpent, anytime too. Like, as you mentioned earlier, I do very much appreciate people's feedback and all of that, for all of this, because the whole goal behind Kingsnake is to make it better for all of you and make it better for the community and the users. So, I'm a very small sample size, so need more feedback, right?
Absolutely.
Otherwise it's gonna be all Heloderma. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad about that. That's fine with me.
Me neither. When you're talking about favorite species, I was like, I think about that one often, and it always comes back to a thing. I'm gonna pick a genus, Heloderma.
Yep.
That's what it would be. It'd be hard to give up the boas, though. Anyway, yeah.
I feel that. Absolutely, man. Dude, Jon, thank you so much for coming out and hanging, man. Again, I'm so stoked for the future of Kingsnake. I'm excited to see all these visions come to fruition. And of course, I'm here to help however I can, and spread the word. I'm super excited. It's great to know that the legacy of Kingsnake is being carried forward, and I think that's incredibly important.
Thank you for all of your support, man. It means a ton. Thank you to the whole community and everybody that has come to support us and is excited we're back. Just thank you all. We've got some great things coming. It's gonna be good for all of us. Thank you, man.
Heck yeah, dude. Again, thank you so much for hanging. And this won't be the last podcast that we have you on, because we'll have to get you back when Rob is with us, and then he can do a proper introduction on scrubs and field herping and all the other things that he does from his day-to-day life. So
I look forward to it.
But heck yeah, dude, thanks again so much, man. I will definitely be talking to you soon.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.
Cool.